Hey friends, okay, so today's video, I'm going to be talking about different things within our home that we could switch to help our families to grow in virtue and goodness and truth and all of that. So today's video, I'm just going to do a swap. So things that are kind of worldly, not necessarily bad, sometimes not bad. And what could we have our children be watching and reading and entertainment instead that are virtuous and good and holy and driving them closer to God. So I'll talk about like Harry Potter, the Magic School Bus, like all these different secular things and my thoughts on them, and then I'll talk about what you could do instead of the secular book. So if you're new here, please subscribe, please hit the little bell button, and let's get into it. We don't really stream anything like Netflix or Disney Plus or any of that. I want to know that my money is going to a good organization first and foremost. So I really like to support good, wholesome videos or streaming services that are so good. None of this is sponsored, by the way, but this is truly how I feel and how we live as a family. And so there's a Catholic, it's kind of like Netflix, but there's a lot of teaching, a lot of entertainment, movies. It's really awesome. It's called form.org. A lot of actually Catholic churches have a subscription through their church. So you could ask your church about that. If not, you can always pay for it. It's kind of like Netflix. I think it's like, I don't know, $5.99 or something like that. So my little kids have a favorite show called Benjamin Cello over there. And it is so sweet and cute. And my little Maria and Bella and Zachary actually like it. It's kind of a mix between Mr. Rogers and a mix between Sesame Street. Like they do have puppets, but it's all about virtue and God. There's songs. It's really engaging. My children love it. And it's actually like uses like bigger words. I feel like it's kind of helping kids to step up to another level. And so that is one of the shows on there that my family absolutely loves, especially the three younger kids. The two older kids, so I have a 9-year-old and a 10-year-old as well, and they'll like watch it because the little kids are, but I feel so good about them watching that show. So and I try not to watch a lot of TV, but if I'm like, you know, doing dishes or something like that, I'll let them watch those, and they're great. They also have great entertainment for adults and great educational things and stuff. So anyway, I love supporting things like that instead of these other secular things that I don't necessarily agree with their value. The other one is PureFlix. So I was debating if I should actually, you know, it's not Catholic, but I'm really glad I did, because I know they don't like say anything against the Catholic Church, but I want to be supportive of these organizations that are going against the grain and like they are trying to teach about God. Like I really do want to do that. So and they actually have little things, like they actually have Catholic things on there. So this is like the Miracle of the Sun, or the day the sun danced. They have all of these, which are really hard to find. I don't think you can find them anywhere, even on like Amazon, maybe on eBay, but I have all of them, and they were hard to find, super hard. So if you go to PureFlix, they have all of these, plus they have Veggie Tales, which is just like a kid's classic, super fun and cute. And so those are the ones that I would say for streaming. So to swap out Who Was. So I don't think there's anything bad with Who Was, as far as I know. If you do, please put in the comment. And actually, if you have any good ideas of swaps, put them in the comments so that all of us Catholic moms and dads and, you know, grandmas and grandpas and anybody who wants to watch, we can all find those. So Who Was, not a horrible book by any means, but what's even better is reading about the saints. So these are very similar to the Who Was. I would say the reading level is about the same. And you know, I do have like a promo code link for the Catholic company. It changes all the time because people keep stealing the code, but I'll put it down below. And most of these you can find over there. So this is St. Catherine of Labore. Here's another really good one. This one just came out, but this is about Blessed Carlo Acutis. Acutus. Am I saying that right? Anyway, and so these are amazing for especially my boys. They really like Mario. They do enjoy playing video games, which I let them play for a little bit every day. But this saint, they love him because he like played video games, and he ended up dying of a young age, but he like gave his whole life to God and really trying to help people grow closer to God. His story is really cool. So this book is really, really good. And the great thing is, like, this is a little boy, this was a boy that my boys can relate to. My two older boys are 10, 9, and then I have a 6-year-old as well. So, so this is one that they can totally relate to. There's pictures, there's, you know, different things that he said and did, and so it's his story. Phenomenal. So this one's really good. I'll try to link these also in the bottom if I get to it. Lately I have not been getting to linking things, so I'm very sorry about that. Okay, so the next one I would talk about is this one. It's called Press Here. It's like an interactive book, which is super cute. There's nothing wrong with it by any means, but it's interactive. You press a dot and it tells you kind of what to do next, and then on the next page you see what happens. And so it's like really sweet. Whoever came up with it, brilliant. I think this is a really fun book. But there is something very similar that is Catholic, and it is called Father Ben Gets Ready for Mass. And my kids just love this book. It's really sweet, and pretty much it's you go through, like, walk through Mass, like how the priest like walks to church, and you know, like you have different things that the kids have to do, like dip your hand in the holy water and bless yourself. And so this is just kind of a Catholic version, which I think is so sweet and cute, informative as well. Like they're learning about the Mass and what the priest does and all of that. So I think this is a really sweet idea as well. Okay, the next one is a secular book, but I actually absolutely love these books. Whenever I go to a thrift store and I find these, I'm like super excited. This is the Hardy Boys, and my husband will read my son the Hardy Boys, and they love it. I love it. It's really good adventure. Anyway, if you wanted to go the more virtuous route, there is this book, which my son has read. I actually haven't read, but it's called Prince Martin, and there's a whole series. So I think there's like maybe 8 books, and you can buy the whole series, but it's a little bit easier reading than the Hardy Boys, but it's still kind of like a little bit adventure and stuff. So so I thought that was a good swap out. Okay, so another one is Magic Tree House. So that's the secular one, and there are, I didn't realize this, but the first couple books I guess are fine. I have a bunch of Catholic friends who told me about this. Later on you find out how they can like go different places, and I guess it's a white witch that shows them. And I stay clear of all that type of stuff. I try not to let I don't know, I'm just very protective because I know that can be a gateway to other things. And so anyway, so I think somebody else thought the same thing, and so somebody else came up with a very similar. This is Virtue Adventures, and so I have 2, and they have another one. So usually like Christmas and Easter and that type of thing, birthdays, I will give like more books. And so so these are really cute, and they're very similar. They're the same type of feel where they go on an adventure, and but they learn about virtue and goodness. So I thought this was a really good swap out for these. So I'll link these down below too. Okay, so the next one that I'm gonna do is probably super controversial. I'll probably get a ton of comments and stuff, but Harry Potter. So it's so interesting because that's one thing that I've seen a lot of Catholic moms anyway who are very divided on Harry Potter. You know, there's the group that's like, oh, it's just fantasy, it's fun, you know, and then there's the group that is like, no, like this is witchcraft, like not okay in the Catholic Church, like it is very clearly not okay. And so my thoughts on Harry Potter is, you know, I did like dive deeper into it. I was never really interested in Harry Potter, like that's just not my type of thing, like witchcraft, I've always heard is just bad. Like it's, even if it's a white witch, like it's still like they're getting their power from somewhere other than God, you know, type of thing. So, but I do love Lord of the Rings. So, you know, I like kind of looked into it a little bit more. Lord of the Rings was written by a Catholic. It's written by Tolkien, and he is a genius Catholic, like so good, like a very, very good writer. But his is definitely very advanced. Like I would not let my boys probably read any of his things until they're like teenagers. But he is very Catholic in the book. Like if you actually read the book and like, you know, I've watched the movies, I've actually never read the books, but very Catholic, like very virtuous, very good, like, you know, the ring, like you're turning away from evil. You want, you know, it like represents sin, right? And like you want it, but you know it's not right. And you know, it's very clearly like good and evil. Whereas Harry Potter, from my understanding, from a lot of different exorcists, so priests who exorcise the demons, all of them have said to stay clear of Harry Potter. Like they said, like, do not let your children read it. Like, yes, it's fantasy, but the writer, what is her name? She is actually a really good writer, which I think is why like people are so like into it. But she actually uses real witchcraft. The words are real witchcraft words, and that is never okay with God. Like we always want to make sure that our books are very clearly like good and evil, you know what I mean? And so anyway, so for me, because of the priests that I know who are exorcists, who really have a insight on, you know, what is the occult, what is evil, what is satanic, because they deal with it all the time, because they say to stay clear of it, I stay clear of it. So I've never let my children watch it or anything like that. So another thing they said was that it was kind of a gateway into other things that are satanic, like directly satanic. So it's like this kind of thing. So for me, whenever something is even gray, I try to stay clear of it. I'd rather just be 100% sure that God is happy with like what I'm reading, what I'm doing, than to be like, oh, I'm sure God's okay with this, right? Because a lot of like, you know, what do they say? The path to hell is paved with good intentions. You know, it's like a lot, you know, maybe she had good intentions even writing it, but the fact that she used real legit witchcraft spells in it gives me the creeps. Like that is a real thing. Like witchcraft is a real thing, and it is not of God. So anyway, so there is Lord of the Rings, which I've heard nothing but actually good things from priests and everybody I've talked to. And also Narnia is a little bit probably more for like the age group of Harry Potter. So I think most people have heard of Narnia, but they have Disney did a movie on it as well, The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe. And so anyway, so these are like adventure, like kind of fantasy, but it is directly about God, like these ones are. So anyway, so that's a good swap out if you're looking for that. So anyway, those are kind of my recommendations. Please share what your recommendations. What do you think are some good swap outs that you and your family like, or your children, or you? I'm thinking of doing one specifically for adults, like moms and dads, or you know, that type of thing. So if you have any good ideas, let me know, and maybe I'll do another one of these if you guys like it. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and until next time, I will see you all later. God bless. Bye.